requirement using different equations or formulas. Okay, so that's the second step, no? And the third step is to uh, these these um these are TER or total energy requirement based on physical activity level and body weight. And then there's also um, BMR, no, using the Harris-Benedict equation, Mifflin-St. Equation, and Oxford equations, no? And these were included in the exams, no? Okay. Today, okay, can you still see can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
All right. So now it is time for us to to determine the amount of macronutrients in for diet prescription. This is the the third step, no? So nag-DBW na, tapos pagkatapos ng DBW is you already know the caloric needs or the total energy requirement. So the third is um we are going to distribute the amount of macronutrients for diet prescription. Okay? So here, in this what we need, no, is in determining the carbohydrate, protein, fat requirement. This is based on the acceptable macronutrient distribution or AMDR. No, AMDR as suggested by the 2015 PDRI or the Philippine Dietary Reference Intakes. Okay? So again, the Philippine Dietary Reference Intakes. Okay? So acceptable macronutrient range. Okay? So that we can distribute, di ba? You have known na ang calories, the nutrients that provide calories are we have carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Okay? So uh, well, apart from that, uh, uh, we also have alcohol, but alcohol is not considered a nutrient. Okay, so what we are going to do now is to distribute the total energy requirement into to become carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Then you have the dietary prescription already. Okay, so the acceptable macronutrient distribution range is okay. So for carbohydrate, it's 55 to 75 of the total energy requirement. Okay, claro. Okay, you can see the screen pa rin, no, di ba? Okay,
Yes, sir.
protein is 10 to 15% of the total energy requirement, and fat is 15 to 30% of the total energy requirement. So, ito yung normal, ha. So, for as long as you're within the range, you're good. Okay? You are okay. Some in some ano, in some hospitals they have their own standards. So depende lang 'yan sa class kasi at SPMC they did not even follow the 10 to 15 na percent total energy requirement na suggestion, no. What they followed is 60-20-20. Okay? So 60-20-20 means 60% carbohydrates, 60% of the total energy requirement is from of the total energy requirement is from carbohydrates, 20% is from fat, which is actually more beyond or more than the acceptable macronutrient distribution range. Ang fat naman is 20%, no? 20% actually low fat na yan siya. Okay? Pero it's still within the AMDR or acceptable macronutrient distribution range. Okay? So, um, there's a note here that for clinical conditions and for children and other age, or physiological groups, modifications in the distribution of carbohydrate, protein, and fat must be made accordingly. Okay? So, but this one I am going to teach you later na lang. Okay? So, yan, there is what we call kasi um, protein allowance, no? So, or protein allowance na you determine first the grams in protein and then the calories. Then, we call that process as non-protein calories, no? But for now, I am going to teach you the percent distribution. Okay? So, naintindihan? No question dito? Okay.
Wala po,
So,
sir.
all right. So carbohydrates is 55 to 75, protein is 10 to 15, and fat is 15 to 30%. Okay. So ang next is okay. For a regular diet, okay, a lot 65% of the total. Ang importante lang class is that uh, yung distribution ng carbohydrates and proteins and fats, mag-total siya ng 100%. Nakuha? Oo. So, pwede, just like yung sa SPMC, 60-20-20, it's, ang total niya, 60 carbohydrates, 20 protein, ang fat is 20, a total of 100%. 100. Okay, 100%, yes. Okay? Nakuha?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes,
So
sir.
for a regular diet, basta within the range, okay lang 'yon, no? So unless it is specified, no? So for a regular diet, a lot 65% of the total energy of the TER or total energy requirement for carbohydrates, 15% protein and 20% for fat as shown in the example. So 65% ang carbs dito, no? So pero pwede yapon ka mag 60 class. Okay? So, ang example natin dito is 1,500 based on the previous example. Okay? The previous example, kunyari if you remember, uh, yung 50 kilogram adult person with sedentary activity, 1,500 kcal. Na-remember ninyo? Okay. So, for example, class, ang total energy requirement, di ba, first is mag-desirable body weight mo. Di ba? Tama?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Second is to determine the total energy requirement. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Third is, mao na ni siya ang distribution of macronutrients. So, kung ma-determine na nimo ang total energy requirement, i-distribute na nimo siya into macronutrients for diet prescription. Okay? So, this is how to do it, no? Lakihan ko. All right? So, for carbohydrates, for example, okay, unahin, no? 1,500 kcal times 0.65. Kasi 65% man ang ato ang example dere. Okay? So, that is 975 kcal. Okay? Tama?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Alright. Okay, thank you for responding ha kay di mo gud mo makita. Okay, so protein is 1,500 times 15%, 15% man ang gibutang dinhi. Example lang yan na ha. 15% ang gibutang din ha. It's 225 kcal. Alright, do you have calculators with you?
Yes, sir.
Alright, so ang fat naman is 20%. Okay? Which is equal to 300 kcal. Alright? Nakuha na?
Yes, sir. Tama, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, ang class 2, para dili mo mawala class, ah 975 times divided by 449 divided by 44 sorry, later na lang, no? 975 kcal, 225, 300. Okay? So, ang next step, Ana, is calculate the number of grams ng carbohydrate protein by dividing the kcal for each nutrient by the corresponding physiologic value, di ba? Yung 449. Remember? Para
Yes,
para
sir.
makuha nimo ang grams. Okay? Nakuha?
Yes, sir.
Oh. So, 'di ba earlier you have 975 kcal for carbohydrates, 225 kcal protein, and fat is 300 kcal. Okay? So, divide each by 449. Okay? So, mo nang always na ko gina-emphasize ng 449 class. Nakuha? So, for carbohydrates, 975 divided by 4 kcal per gram is equal to 243.75 or 245 grams. Okay? Round off yan siya into the nearest 5. Nearest 5 class. Na-gets?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let us proceed to protein. 225 kcal, okay, 'di ba? Dali 225 kcal. 225 kcal divided by 4 kcal per gram is equal to 56.25, which is kung i-round off ni mo siya, which is closer, 55 or 60.
55,
Nearest
sir.
5. Okay, 55. So, kaya 55 grams siya. Okay? So, it's nearest 5 ang pag-round off ana niya class. Okay? Nakuha? Okay. Ang fat class, ang 300 kcal divided by 9 kasi 9 kcal per gram ang fat, 300 divided by 9 is equal to 33.33, which is closer to 35 grams. Nakuha?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So naana kay kuan ang grams nimo for carbohydrates is 245 grams, ang protein is 55 grams, ang fat is 35 grams. So round off the total calories to the nearest 50, no? To the nearest 50 ang calories class, basta calories. Okay? To the round off total calories to the nearest 50, and for carbohydrates, proteins, and fats to the nearest 5 grams. Okay? Naka-indicate din ha, to the nearest 5 grams. Nakuha? Alright. So, now you already have a diet prescription. Okay? Diet prescription. Nakuha? 1,500 kcal, a carbohydrate of 245 grams, a protein of 55 grams, and a fat of 35 grams. That is how to write the diet prescription in this case. Uh, okay? Nakuha?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Oo. Ang uban class, ang mga dietitians, no, mga doctors, magbutang na siya 1,500 ang diet prescription 1,500 dash 245 dash 55 dash 35, meaning ana kcal dash carbohydrate dash protein dash fat. Okay, all right. So we come up now with a diet prescription already. Okay, so kabalo na tatilang grams. Okay, no questions?
None, sir.
All right. So we now proceed to the next step. Okay. This is already translating, di ba? Ingon ko sa inyo ha. So unsaon nato ng mga grams, unsaon nato ng mga kcal din ha. No? That would be that would be useless if we cannot translate those to food on the plate, no, or meal plan, no. So that is why we have the diet prescription. Okay, so for this, okay, for example, okay, this is the next step ha. So ang first is the desirable body weight. Ang second is determine the total energy requirement or the calories. Then third is distribution of macro of the calories to macronutrients. Okay, so mo na itong nag-determine ta og kuan percent distribution. Okay, then the fourth step is translating it into diet prescription. Translating the diet prescription into exchanges. Okay, nakuha? Okay. So 4.1 is list all. Okay. Ang 4.1, ang first step is list all the foods furnishing carbohydrates starting with vegetables, fruits, milk, and sugar. Pero ang sabi dito is see table 1.5. Okay, which I actually have already sent to you, no? Uh, rather which actually I have already um sent to you in through PM kay basig makonta, no, kay actually di man gud ni available somewhere else, no, kay ipicturean lang nako siya ni taas man siya kaayo. So uh, this one kay GPM lang na ako siya, no, kay I do not want to publish anything kay basig ma-praise ko class sa kuan kay ang kuan ba kining ang sa tawag ani because of
Copyright.
uh yeah. So, di ba bawal man na siya. So, kay picture lang siya. Okay? So, this anyway, this is justifiable kasi this is for educational purposes naman. Okay? Wala mang kuto ng wartaan eh. Okay? So, um, this one is actually okay, which actually I have sent to you already. Uh, okay. All right. So, this one is the okay, wait lang. Okay, wait. Aha. Okay, wait. Uh, okay. What do you see? What do you see in this on the screen?
Energy and macronutrient composition of food exchanges, sir.
Okay. So, it is that mao ni siya ang table 2.1 class, okay? Dira nato siya dira nato siya i ano, i-refer, no? So this is per exchange. Okay? This is per exchange. So ang vegetable ang one exchange ng vegetable is 3 grams ng carbohydrate, 1 gram ng protein, then walang fat, ang energy is 16. Then, ang second na list sa group, food list is, food group is fruit, which is 10% carbohydrates, walang protein, walang fat, and then ang 40 ang energy niya. Okay? So I think I have already explained this to you bakit yung kuan, yung 449 i-multiply gani na nimo ng carbohydrates, proteins ug fats, then ang equivalent niya into 449, ang equivalent niya is the energy. Okay? Then ang milk is meron siyang whole, merong low fat or non-fat. So 12:8 12:8 10 12:8 tapos ang fat will vary. Depende kung whole fat ba siya, low fat ba siya, or non-fat. Okay? So, kaya mag-vary po ang energy niya. Nakuha? Alright. So, ang rice food class, sa rice is the fourth group, no? This is the fourth group, and for the rice, actually, uh, this is actually distributed into or categorized into three. So rice A is low protein, rice B is medium protein, and rice C is high protein. Kaya if you notice, ang protein din na nag-vary siya pero the same amount ng carbohydrates, ang fat pod. Nakuha?
Yes, sir.
Alright. So, ang meat naman class is naapod siya low fat, naapod siya medium fat, naapod high fat. So, wala siya carbohydrates, ang meat, no? Ang protein is the same. Okay? This is per exchange, ha? And ang fat is nag-vary siya, no? Whether low fat, medium fat, or high fat. Okay? So, 1, 6, 10 ang nakabutan dira. So, mag-vary ang definitely mag-vary ang iyang energy. Okay? So ang fat like let's say oils, okay, wala siya carbohydrates, wala siya protein. Fat is 5 grams. Therefore, multiply it by 9 kaya 45 calories ang energy. Okay? Then ang sugar is the last group is 5. Okay? This is carbohydrates. Okay, carbohydrates. Wala siyang protein, wala siyang fat. So, 5 times 4 is equal to 20. Okay? Nakuha?
Yes, sir.
Alright. Now, medyo magpaspas ko class ha kay nagaapas ko sa nagaapas ko sa amo ang kanang dean's meeting. Okay. Now, balik ko din niya. Okay. So for vegetable, list all the foods furnishing carbohydrates starting with vegetables, fruit, milk, and sugar. Okay? Okay. Ang second class is what dili sa nato ang rice exchange ayaw sa. Okay? So unahon sa nato list all the foods furnishing carbohydrates starting with vegetables, fruit, milk, and sugar. Okay? So, for first is A, allow 3 to 5 exchanges of vegetables per day. Okay? All right. So, okay, here, sa atong example, okay, na may sample computation diri, dili na mo maglisod. Okay? So, this is just an example, pero depende gihapon na siya class sa client, no? Depende sa client or depende sa dietitian or most likely sa client yan siya kung pila ang allowance. So, ang dire sa vegetable is 3 exchanges ang gihimo nga example. Pero you can have as much as 3 to 5 exchanges of vegetables per day. Nakuha? Okay. So in our example, three exchanges lang yan siya. Okay? So maguna-una na ka na siguro pag morning mag-vegetable siya, one exchange, or tapos ang lunch niya is another exchange, tapos another exchange would be for dinner. Okay? So pwede pod na dili siya dili siya mag-vegetable in the morning. So lunch kay medyo dako siya, kuan dako ang iyahang meal for lunch. So it could be na two exchanges ang iyang vegetable for lunch, tapos for dinner niya is one exchange na lang to complete the three exchanges. Okay? So, una-una na nimo siya daan. Okay? So, for vegetable, number of exchanges is 3. Example lang na ha, but you can have 5. Nakuha? 3 to 5.
Yes, sir.
Alright, so for vegetable, okay. For vegetable, okay. 'Di ba, balik ta dito sa balik ta dito sa kani vegetable 3, 1, 16. 'Di ba? Ang one exchange is 3 grams of carbohydrates, protein is 1 gram of 1 gram, and then walay fat, and then energy is 16. Nakuha? 'Di ba? Mao na siya per exchange. Nakuha, class?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so mao na tong basis ha. So since okay, balik ta dito. Since 3 ang number of exchanges ana niya, 3 ang exchanges ana niya, class, 3 ang iyang gibutang diri, kay naguna-una siya nga number of 3 exchanges, okay? So, uh, ang carbohydrates niya is i-multiply nimo to 3 grams. Okay? So, number of exchanges times 3. Kasi, one one exchange of vegetable is 3 grams. That is why, nakita ninyo din na it's equivalent to 9 grams. Nakuha? Okay. Ang protein naman, dito sa katong basis nato per exchange is 1. 'Di ba? Per exchange. So multiply by the number of exchange sa 3, that is 1. That is 3. 1 times 3. Kaya 3 siya. Nagets? Alright. So, ang fat naman is wala man siya. 0 man siya, di ba? So, wala. Okay. So, ang energy niya, di ba? 16 man to, class.
Yes, sir.
Oo. So, 16 times 3. Okay? 16 times 3 is 48. Nakuha?
Yes, sir.
Alright. So, same gihapon na siya, class. Equivalent gihapon na siya. Maski wala ka kabalo sa energy din ha. Pero, kung kuan gihapon na nimo 449, multiply gihapon na nimo 449, 9 times 9 times 4, 9, 18, 27, 36. Okay, 36. Ang protein is times 4 is 12. 36 plus 12 equals 48. Okay? Nakuha? Alright. So, ang next step, ang ingon diri class, basta dili mo mawala class, basta magkuan lang mo, mag-follow lang yun mo aning food exchange list. Okay? Ang second is allow 3 to 5 exchanges of fruits per day unless there is a need for a drastic restriction of simple carbohydrates. in our example, so 3 to 5 exchanges gihapon siya. Okay? So, ang gibutang din ni is mahilig siguro sa fruit ang ato ang client or ato ang ato ang ang ato ang person is 5 exchanges. Okay? Nakuha? All right. So, if we are going to base that sa ato katong table kaganina, no? Sa table kaganina, ang carbohydrate na per exchange is 10 grams. Kaya class, kani siya oh. Kani siya ba? Kani siya, 'di ba? Ang fruit is 10 grams per exchange. Okay? Table 2.1, 'di ba? All right. So, that is why if you allow, if you are going to allow 5 grams, number of 5 exchanges of fruit, you are going to have 50 grams of carbohydrate. Nakuha? Walang protein, walang fat, and then ang calories niya is 200. Nakuha? Alright. Ang next step is milk. Okay? So ang milk is ang iyang gigamit din na milk is ang fat is one lang man ang iyaha dere. So siguro during the interview gusto lang niya isa lang ka milk at least, no? So depende na siya, pero ang diri sa milk diri allow at least one exchange of milk if tolerated. Okay? So, kung wala lactose intolerance, for example, if tolerated, no? Walay diarrhea, for example, ana. So, the amount and type of milk depends upon the client's need or health condition. Sometimes, it also depends sa economy, no? So, depende sa allowance. Mahal ba yung milk class, no? Diba nakuha? But at least one exchange unta if tolerated. Okay? Kung makatolerate ang ato ang client. Okay? So, in our example, we have one exchange. Actually, kana nga milk diri class, kani nga milk class is ang milk nato is actually ang gihatag niya nga example is kuha na siya, whole milk na siya. Okay? Dili not low fat, not not non-fat or skim or kuan fat free. Kay 10 man ang iyang naadin na dito, no? So maghuna-una na ka nga pwede dai siya whole milk. Pero kung dili siya pwede whole milk, low fat iya or non-fat kasi may sakit sa kasing-kasing for example or naga-diet siya, ayaw niya ng kuan, katong high fat. So magkuan lang ka, mag-vary lang ka, kani lang pwede mong gamiton, magdepende lang sa fat. Okay? Magdepende lang sa fat content. Okay? So, let us go back to our example. Okay? So, to our example, okay. So, ang milk is, since one exchange lang siya, you have 12 grams of carbohydrate, protein is 8, and then 10. So, wala siya changes. Kasi 1 gram lang man siya. Nakuha? Nakuha? Nakuha, no? Okay na. Alright. Then, ang next is sugar. So, balik ta sa step, okay, ang sugar. Allow 3 to 6 exchanges of sugar per day unless contraindicated. Like, let's say, for example, kung diabetics, naman ko yung mga sa diabetes na dili na controlled, so, 3 to 6 exchanges na siya kung pwede. Pero kung dili ka magbutang og sugar. Okay? So per gram sa sugar is 5 grams carbohydrate. Walay protein, walay fat. mao na siya ang kuan. Okay? So 3 to 6 exchanges na siya. In our example, it's uh, three three exchanges ang gipili niya. Okay? So, ang carbohydrates 3 times 5 is equal to 15. Nakuha? Okay, walay protein, walay fat, and then 60 ang kcal. All right? So, what we need to do is to distribute all the I mean total all the carbohydrates. Okay? Except for the rice. Nakuha? 9 plus 50 plus 12 plus 15. A carbohydrate partial sum of 86. Nakuha? Alright. Now, um, so, ang 245, di ba? 245 man ang ato ang katong sa distribution na guy, 245 ang allowance na to. 245 grams. Kaning naa sa taas. Sorry. Kaning naa sa taas. Wait. Okay. Di ba? 245 man na siya, di ba? Kana oh. Kani. Di ba? 245. Nakuha? Nakuha, no? Nag-follow mo? Na-follow ba?
Yes.
Okay. So, 245, this is the prescribed carbohydrate, minus 86, which is the total of the carbohydrates. Ito, kani. Kana. Which is the total ng vegetable, carbohydrate, fruit, milk, and sugar. Okay? So, which is the partial sum of carbohydrate. That is equivalent to 159. Nakuha? Gets?
Nakuha, sir.
Alright.
Prescribed, sir, no?
245. Okay, 245. Diba? Kuha ninyo sa taas. Kanaos? 245 minus 86. 245
Sir,
minus
nakuha na, sir.
86. Okay. Now, that is equivalent to 159. Okay?
Sir.
Okay. Now, ang kwan anak class is divide that by 23. Nganong 23 man? Kasi per exchange of rice contains 23 grams of carbohydrates. Para makuha nimo pila ang exchange dapat sa rice. Okay? So, ang rice anak class is okay. Next step ha, add the amount of carbohydrates. So, manana siya. Subtract the partial sum from the prescribed amount of carbohydrates. Dili mo mawala class basta mag-follow lang mo ano yung step. C is divide the difference by 23. This is the amount of carbohydrate per exchange of rice. Nakuha? Asan agi ka ng 23? Sa dito sa kani o kani siya. Kani siya. Kana nakita ninyo na 23 carbohydrates ang one exchange. Okay? So, therefore, gi-divide siya og 23 class. Ang 159 divided by 23, that is 6.91 or 7 rice exchanges. Nakuha?
Yes.
Okay?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so Ang next food group is rice. Rice na lang naman ang nabilin. Okay? Na carbohydrates, na with carbohydrates, no? Kay nakuha naman, na-compute naman tong vegetable, fruit, milk, o sugar. So, rice na lang ang nabilin. Okay? So, sa rice, di ba, depende man sa protein content. So, ang rice A, B, ug C, depende sa protein content. Okay? So, what what the example here is ang exchange na gigamit niya is one exchange one exchange of rice A. Ang rice B is 5 exchanges. Ang rice C is 1 exchange. A total of 7 exchanges. Nakuha? Oo. Basta importante class is mag-total ka og 7 rice exchanges. Okay? Na-gets?
Nuggets, sir, nuggets.
Okay. Now, all right. So, kada class is di-multiply gyapon siya sa carbohydrates, proteins o kaning sa fats nga kuan. So, kaya na siya 92, 500, 108. Okay? So, same process ato dito sa ibabaw. All right? Okay. Now, compute now for the protein, ang partial sum. Okay? Pila ang protein niya? Gikan sa vegetable, fruit, milk, sugar, katong protein. 3 plus 8. 11.
11, sir.
7,
Okay.
sir.
Plus sa rice B, ang rice A magud kay low protein ni siya, no protein. So, rice B is 10. Yeah, 10.
21,
Okay?
sir.
10 kasi 2 grams yan siya. Or ang rice C, ang per gram niya 4 grams of protein. Yeah, 4 grams of protein. Yeah, balik na to ha. Oo, kani siya. Wala, zero, no, ang low protein zero, ang medium protein. This is per exchange. 2 tapos 4. Okay? Nakuha?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so ang protein niya gisum up na siya, then that makes 25 grams. Okay? Ang total sa vegetable nga protein, fruit protein, milk protein, sugar, rice A, B, and C, give total, then ang partial ni protein partial sum is 25 grams. Just like what we did earlier sa carbohydrate kanina. Okay? So 25 lang yung protein. Nakuha? Yung protein. Nakuha?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, kanang 25, i-minus nato na siya sa prescribed protein. Okay? So, di ba, ang prescribed nato nga protein is 55 grams. Nakita?
Yes, sir.
Alright. So, 55 minus 25, nganong ato man ang i-minus to get the number of meat exchanges. Kung kaganina, divided by 23, divided by 8 karon. So 55 minus 25 is equal to 30. So 30 divided by 8 is equal to 3.75 or 4 meat exchanges. Nakuha?
Nakuha. Mga
Alright.
total.
So, okay. So, ang iyahang gikuan diri, ang sa food group number 5, nagamit siya og low fat o medium fat meat, pero wala siya nagamit og high fat nga meat. Okay? Kaya ang four exchanges dira is to walay fat exchange. High fat rather. So para makumpleto ang four meat exchanges. Okay? So same process.
Round up or round up, sir?
Ha?
Round up did always or round up?
Uh round off which what do you mean?
Okay, ang round up, sir, kay pag may sobra na decimal point kay up this so like tay 3.75 mo 4 digit siya dito basta round up. Round up kay
Ah,
magdepende sa pan, sir. Yes, sir.
okay. So so in other words, round up ang imubut pasabot dong.
Wala sir ana, sir. Pero dili din sir
Okay.
na panday. Round up din siya,
Si
sir.
ah well, siguro ma di ko kabalo sa kuan basta akong gigamit na term lang is round off lang. Okay. But anyway, sige lang. Um so mao na siya ha. So therefore, ang fat manggod class is per exchange is 8 grams. Okay? Kaya kung 2 grams dinhi, 2 grams pod ang low fat, kaya 16. 8 times 2, 16. 8 times 2 is 16. Okay? Pwede po ka, kung mag-low fat ka, 3 exchanges dira, tapos 1 exchange ang medium fat. Kaya, a total of 4 meat exchanges. Nakuha? Alright. So, mao na siya ang kuan. So, kani, mag-vary ni siya sa fat partial sum. Okay? Now, kaning low fat class, pwede pod kung magbutang kag high fat, no? Duha ka low fat meat kay four exchanges man. Medium fat is one exchange, tapos ang high fat is another exchange, equivalent to four exchanges. Pwede po na siya. Nakuha? So four exchanges, meat exchanges tanan. Nagets? Okay. Pero, mag-vary na siya dinhi kay naa naman kay high fat just in case. Okay? Mag-vary na siya sa partial, eto, fat partial. Kay kung magbutang ka og high fat. Gets? Kani manggod na siya oh. 'Di ba ang meat nato na low fat, na medium fat ug na high fat. Kani siya oh. 'Di ba? Ang gigamit niya dito wala siya nagbutang og high fat. Wala siya nagbutang og high fat. Low fat lang o medium fat. Nakuha?
Yes, sir.
Oo. Pero kung magbutang kag high fat, pwede gihapon. Basta mag-stick lang ka dito sa number of exchanges. Okay? Alright. So, ang prescribed fat nato is 35 grams based on our dietary prescription. So, 30, 11, no? So 11, 35 minus 24, ang total kasi is 24. Okay? So sa fat na isa ha, ang total kasi is 24. Therefore, 11, 11 ang kuan total. Divided by 5, nganong 5 man class kay ang one exchange ng ang one exchange divided by 4, divided by 5, nganong 5 man? Kasi, ah, kasi ang 5 manggod class, 1 gram manggod og fat, 1 gram manggod og fat is, ang 1 gram of fat manggod is 5 grams. Sorry, one exchange of fat rather is 5 grams. Para makuha na to ang fat exchange. Okay? Basta importante mag-follow ka din kani nga step. Okay? So, nganong 5? Nganong divided by 5? Okay. Divided by 5 kay, balik na to din ha. Kay ang fat, ang one exchange ng fat is 5 grams. Nakuha? Alright. So, I know this is a lot, no? A lot to a lot to deal with, no? Okay. So, that is why ang fat is uh, ang fat is 2 fat exchanges na lang. Kasi 2.2. 11 divided by 5 is equal to 2.2 or 2 fat exchanges. Okay? So, in other words, class, katong kuan is imbis na, di ba, 2.2, dili siya 3. Okay? So, 2 lang siya gihapon. Okay? So, kay kung imuha magunay mo 3, sobra na pud ka. So, ang fat is 2 ang iyang gibutang, no? Kay 2 na lang man ang nabilin nga fat exchanges. Then, 10 din ha, kay, di ba, per exchange of fat is 5 grams. Nakuha? Five times 2 is equal to 10. Okay? So, ang calories niya is 90. Nakuha?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so i-total na nimo tanan ang katong carbohydrates, total na nimo tanan, i-total na nimo tanan ang protein, okay? I-total na nimo ang fats tanan, okay? I-total na nimo ang calories tanan, okay? So mao na ni siya ang total katong sa base sa atong ano. So 247 ang carbohydrates, 57 ang protein, 34 ang grams ang fat. Okay? Or equivalent to 155, 1522 kcal. Okay? So do not worry, 'di ba? Ang ato amang gihapon diri ang allowance nato is 245. Pero ang ato dinhi is 247. So okay lang na siya plus minus 5. Okay? So ang protein niya is 55. Okay, ang atong allowance, pero ang diri nato, ang total is 57. Okay? Then ang fat class is 34. Pero okay lang na siya, plus minus 5 man na siya class. And then ang energy is 'di ba 1,500 kcal. Okay? Ang total dira is 1522. Ang kcal man is plus minus 50. Nakuha?
Yes, sir.
Alright? Okay, so naa na kay, ang next step ana, mag-follow na, okay, humana na siya. Humana ni siya, kani siya, Kani siya. So, ang next step is distribute the exchanges into breakfast, lunch, supper, and snacks. Okay? So, i-distribute na nato. Next, ano na to is kani. So, i-distribute na tong number of exchanges, breakfast, tapos, katong number of exchanges ba? Kini, kini siya. Kani, ang number of exchanges, i-distribute na siya into breakfast, morning snacks, lunch, afternoon snack o supper. Pero huna-hunaon nimo kung pila ang kuan unsa ang imuhang imagination sa imong plato per meal. So i-divide lang to nimo simply para sayon sa imuha. Okay, mao na siya buto sa butana, distribution of exchanges per meal. Gets?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next is uh ang next is okay. So mao na ni siya class. Okay? Nakuha? All right. So with that, you can have already a sample menu. Okay? Sample one-day meal plan. Gets? So for breakfast, kani siya ganing exchanges dere. Ang breakfast, vegetable, fruit. Ibutang lang na nimo kana tanan diri sa breakfast. Na gets?
Yes,
Oo.
sir.
Tapos AM snacks na pod, tapos lunch na pod, PM snacks na pod, tapos supper na pod. Okay? So, na siya sample menu, na siya household measure. Okay? Na-gets? Oo. So, since I sent you that already, so dili na ka mag-imagine karon kung unsang kanang mga pila ng calories, pila ang grams ana kay naa naman siya yung sample menu, 'di ba? Naa siya yung sample menu. So realistic na siya. Na-gets? All right. So, what I want you to do from 9 o'clock up to 11 is to do that no based on your need. Gikan sa desirable body weight ninyo up to dinhi sa sample menu.
Asa na may butang, sir?
Ah, ibutang na sa ninyo sa papel tapos magbutang ko dito sa TLA later. Asa picture lang ninyo tapos i-submit ninyo.
From katong desirable, magsugod sa desirable body weight, sir, hantod sa karon na kuan.
Sa, okay na?
Yes, sir.
So, pwede sa Google Docs
Oh,
na
base sa inyo ha. Base sa inyo ha. So lahi-lahi mo. Okay? Okay ba?
Sir, kailangan written po.
Ansa?
Kailangan written po.
Pwede sa Google Docs, sir.
Pwede.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Oh, sige. Pero mas magud sa inyo kung write na ninyo kay basig mag-erase mo ana.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Basta na lang mo i-submit. Ha?
Okay po, sir.
Okay. All right. So, I will not hold you long kay na ako'y meeting, di ba nagsigig tawag ug ano. Okay? All right.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Good luck, everyone. Bye.
Bye, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.